merecasters. Let's try this first. The too warm device hums and throbs in your hand, and though you hear no music, you realize your lips are mouthing the words to a song in a language you don't speak. You feel the mirror this device contains blooming within you like a flowering looping vine. Inspect it. The metallic petals of the device flutter in the slightest breeze, light sparkles of the intricate circuitry within them. Enter. Red. It's the color of the sky as the sun sets behind the stacked hovels. It's the color of the dust that coats the massive obelisk rising beyond the hovels, holding back the endless waters of the oasis. It's the color of her skin. The woman's name is Saxia. Her skin turns red when she's afraid. A mutation. Red is the color of her blood running from the gash in her forehead. Red is your rage as you look at the two men who tower over her, laughing raucously, taking turns to vent their spite. You can smell it, the blood and their loathing. It stinks worse than Susia's fear. Please, Susia begs you. Please stop them. Help me. What's all this then? The human rights mutie, one of them jeers. There ain't enough water to go around, but this troll spore thinks she deserves more than the rest of us. Lucia starts to protest that it wasn't her, but the human kicks her in the face. You all do it. He spits in her face. Don't think we ain't seen every one of you taking more than your daily cup. That should be enough for any filthy mutant. But no, now you got the Burgrave thinking about changing the damn laws. He kicks her again to make his point. The other one steps forward and looks down at you, blocking the sun. I bet you deserve as much as a human too, don't ya? Think you're better than the rest of us. Yeah, that's sort of a conflict, isn't it? If I deserve just as much as you, we're sort of equal, not better. You think we'll just stand by while you come in here and beat up one of our own? The humans laugh at your pathetic attempt. They turn on you, overwhelming you from both sides. You can't protect every place at once. They pound your face, your stomach, your kidneys. You taste blood and smell your own fear. They knock you down and all you see is the red sky behind the sneering faces. They stop at last. One of them spits on your face. Damn mutants. You don't belong here. We'll be back later with the others. Then we'll teach you a real lesson. They strut back down the road in the town. After they leave, a surgeon runs forward to attend to Sia's wounds. A small boy covered in blood blisters come out from his hiding place to watch. An enormous mutant with an elongated neck towers over both of them. A woman with blue skin runs out of her house. Archie! She shouts at the boy. You get home this instant. The boy tears himself away from Susia and the surgeon. Suddenly he stops and looks up to you. They said they were coming back. What are we gonna do? His mother, Lolly, puts a hand on the boy's shoulder and also looks up to you. What are we going to do? You feel the heat of several dozen eyes asking the same thing, looking to you for guidance. Talk to the large mutant watching the surgeon's ministrations. This mutant stands 2 meters tall without his long neck. His hands look strong enough to rip bricks in half. It's a wonder he didn't do anything to help Cecilia, when he clearly could have. His voice, when it comes, is strange and sonorous, emerging from the multiple holes pierced through his neck. "There will not peace until blood has come to reign," he says, and you realize he's talking about himself, not that he makes any sense. He looks directly at you. "Zell desires blood to reign." Talk to the surgeon. All 3 of Misha's hands are busy, fussing over Cecilia with several different pace injectors and spray canisters. Can't take much more of this. I mean all of us. Seems like someone comes in here causing trouble every week now, as if life in the Morphling grotto weren't hard enough. She slams 3 ciphers down at once and glowers at you. What we should do is talk to Burgrave. He might actually be able to do something. He returns to Cecilia with a groan. Not that he would. Not that any of us could even get to him without trouble. But it might be the only chance we have. Talk to Cecilia. Cecilia looks up. Her skin is multi-hued now, and reeks of overcooked vegetables. Pain. Thanks for your help, she manages. He looks pretty bad. Apparently the thugs had been working on her long before you drew their attention. You know what I miss? He's obviously half dazed as she speaks. Your music. You used to write the most moving songs. Her head lolls to one side. I miss your songs. Alright. Talk to the mother and her boy, see what they think. We should fight. The boy Ashe grins with sharp yellow teeth. There's lots of us. We can take them. Hush, child. His mother taps him lightly on the back of his head. A blood blister pops, covering her hand with a sticky, smelly goo. Damn. Anyway, don't listen to him. We're not fighters, you know that. The woman Lali looks over to where the surgeon is ministering to Cecilia. You should ask what... You shouldn't ask me what I think. I think we should just keep our heads down. But that won't stop this, will it? I wonder if anything can. Yeah, I think we have an option to prepare the mutants to fight when the thugs come back. Encourage them, help them to focus on what they have and to enjoy the present. Tell them there is nothing they can do but hope the humans don't return. Yeah, we can't rely on hope. Encouraging them might be nice, but it doesn't solve the problem again. Helping prepare them to fight might be an answer, but it's a risky thing. I think there's a sort of a romantic image of people rising to resist and fight against all kinds of injustices, but the real thing is that shit only works because the people who actually know how to fight are not allowed to fight back or don't want to fight back. If you have a situation where you have some kind of group of peasantry trying to challenge authority, they're gonna get slaughtered if the fighting force actually seriously fights against them. Sort of a peasant revolt type of situation. So, and I have no indication that these are nothing but citizens. I mean normal people, not fighters. So, I suppose what I would like to do is basically say to someone, prepare for the thugs while I'll try to get help. But I'll leave the grotto, get help from Burgrave. I don't know who Burgrave is, but the human I think said that he was thinking about giving us the same rights as normal humans, so he can't be exactly that racist against us. It might be worthwhile to bring this situation to his, make him aware of this situation. So leave the grotto to get help from the Burgrave. The Burgrave. I'm guessing it's some kind of a title then. You follow the path the fox took to leave the grotto. It leads you away from the towering obelisk down the winding road shadowed by tall sandstone buildings on either side. The closer you get to the main town, the more humans there are. Every one of them stares at you. Some turn away quickly, feigning nonchalance. Others curl their lips in disgust. A few tell you to go back where you came from, the ways preferably. One warns you you'll die out here, but the way he says it seems like he hopes he's the one who kills you. In the town square you are shoved and jostled on all sides. What few kind faces there are steer clear of you entirely. Finally you reach the Burgrave's tower. The tower is marked. The tower marks the center of the town square. It is clearly not of the ninth world. It is made of some older material, tipping so much it's a wonder it hasn't collapsed yet. Burgrave is easy to find. He stands in front of the tower, a stout man in a colorful robe, more colorful than most Jerboan citizens. His robe is adorned with various pearlescent beads and discs that mark his station. He is speaking with a richly dressed man and woman. The Burgrave does not seem to have noticed you, but the couple he is speaking to are clearly disgusted by your arrival. You place your tentacled hand on Burgrave's shoulder to get his attention. Uh, I don't think we can wait, so I'll interrupt. Apologize to the richly dressed couple for disturbing them. Burgrave gives you a sudden attention. Oh, I was so engrossed in what I was doing. He looks you up and down, though not in the disgusted way his fellows do. What brings a mutant out here? You state your case, telling him of the attack on Cecilia and all that came after, including their warning that they would return. The couple leaves, but he listens, waiting patiently for you to finish the whole tale. Must be of great importance to you, for you to come here even interrupting three of Jerboa's most important officials. Very well, I will have it investigated. After all, the grotto is part of the city too. You thank him and return home. There are very few people in the streets outside the grotto at this time of night. Suddenly a few figures emerge from the shadows. Two of them are the humans from before. Well now, one says leering, what are you doing out? A gleam in his hand tells you they are carrying more than fists this time. More figures emerge, surrounding you. The scrape of metal sends a shiver up your spine. Attack them, take as many down as you can. No, I'm not some kind of suicidal, insane person. Turn around now and I won't have to hurt you. Yeah, that didn't work the first time. I've talked to the Burgrave. If you kill me, he'll know that what you're doing and take action. Yeah, I'll make a break for the grotto. You pretend to attack them, then juke the other way and run past. You tear down the alley, their footsteps in hot pursuit. Misha sees you first. She shouts to the others and they prepare for a fight. She gives you a makeshift club and you turn to face your adversaries. But this is worse than before. It's not just two thugs beating up Sosia, but an entire gang of humans come to take their anger out on the mutants of the grotto once and for all. The fighting begins faster than you expect. The air is filled with shouts of rage and pain. With a tremendous whack, you knock down a man in front of you, but looking around you see everyone is in danger. Try to help. The boy and the mother, Sosia, the surgeon, and the enormous mutant. As many as you can, fearing nothing for yourself. I think we should try to help others. In general, if everyone just fights alone, They can isolate us and basically just gang up on us individually and take us down. Let's go for the boy and his mother first. The boy is probably in the biggest danger of anyone. Ashe attacks the men with vicious ferocity, but his mother even more so. She is like a caged animal, slashing the face and throat of anyone who comes near her son. But as the thugs realize their danger, they overwhelm the boy and his mother. You rush to their aid, knocking a shiv out of a man's hand just before he stabs young Ashe's face. Ashe jumps forward, smashing the man's face with his club. His mother is not so lucky. You turn around and she has already fallen, as have many other mutants. Tasiya and Misha are taking care of themselves, but the others are in serious trouble. As many mutants have died, the grotto has killed more humans. They are pressed back out of the grotto, and the noise soon draws the attention of more Jerboans. Some of these join the fight against the mutants, but many more stand alongside mutants defending them. Something slams into your back then. Before you can turn to face your attacker, another blow smashes your head into the dirt. Light seeps from your skull. Some distance away, you see Zell lying dead on the ground as well, dozens torn apart beside him. The world fades to blackness. You hear the fighting spread, a full riot. All of Jerboa has joined one side or the other. Never again will the grotto be ignored. Okay. Didn't really... well, we had a few choices, but didn't have to use our skills in any way. Now I'm not sure we really affected anything either. More or less just read through a short story. A piece of history. I try to access the mirror. Someone has twisted this merecasters out of alignment. It would be impossible guesswork to put it in a proper state again. So that's not happening. We were warned about that though. We need to find the owner. That would be the guy who's leading the Endless Gate people. Well, leading might be the wrong word here. I want to go on random trips before I go here. Yeah, just simply randomly somewhere.
All right.
These are the names.
Happy to help.
Pion. Louis Philippe Paquette. Charles Boulware. Brian Campbell.
I am the very soul of action.
Falling Sky can be solved or it can't. Don't waste time worrying. Skyfell.
Fair enough.
Random. There's a limit to how many random places I'm willing to go to, but I just want to see if are we encountering something. Yeah, we are. All you can tell about this man is that he is clothed in red robes, with a pipe in one hand and a staff in the other. Is he a weary traveler, a seeker of relics? Perhaps the pipe and staff are heirlooms from his ancestry. One thing is not in question, the look of disgust on his face. You're an explorer. Let me guess. Tantalum sent you down here too, didn't he? He tell you to come find Hero? Well, you found me. Tantalum, that trick, that sudden lag nibbler. That scabrous talk. I'll bet he does this to everyone, sends them off on a wild chase with promises of deep and secret knowledge, and then laughs about it to himself. So what are you doing here? I'm an explorer, relic hunter, theorist, and now apparently the man who missed his funding deadline with his investors because of a stupid prank by that crypt eater Tantalum. So you know him. Unfortunately. I was looking for ways to tie together a theory about certain gravity-bending civilizations, but Tantalum diverted me by saying I'd find my answers if I read enough tombs. So yes, I know him, that bastard. How many tombs have you read? If you ask Tantalum, not enough. If you ask me, far too many. So have you found anything in your explorations? Correct. Shit. In other words, precisely nothing. He holds a finger up. That's not precisely true. I found this worthless piece of junk in a tomb, doubtless dropped there by some other sap duped into Tantalum's errands. Worthless. Can't even break it down over shins. He tosses it to you. Here, a reminder not to listen to buffoons. Though I suppose I must admit to having learned something. I've learned that death is inevitable and that Tantalum is a fraud, and that my own death draws closer every second I waste on this foolish task. Anything else? No, nothing except the truth that death creeps closer every moment, and that Tantalum is the instrument who brings it nearer with his stupid time-wasting stunts. Okay? If I ever see Tantalum again, I'll show him what these tombs are good for. I'll inter him myself. He puffs angrily on his pipe. You know what? I'm going to go find him right now. He strides away, realizes that you have spoken to him, and stops. He turns. My apologies. You're not to blame. Farewell yourself. And then he sweeps from the room. Well, we're getting free stuff out of doing this. What exactly is this? It's a usable thing. Circulating merecaster, so a third one. With the endless loop of this strange alembic, golden fluid froths, fumes, and then precipitates back into the boiling beaker where it began. You cannot quite trace the pathway the substance follows. It almost seems that it is not a liquid at all, but rather some kind of organism endlessly and agonizingly transmuted within the unbreakable confines of the device. So I'm gonna take another trip then. After I read
ready.
these. Paul Mock, Daniel Cato, Asko Jeva Kuskosi. Shamian.
Of course.
There is but no life without death. Paul Newton.
I'm going.
Anne Conway. Hello,
On
Ra.
my way.
You withdraw the coiled merecaster from your belongings and weigh it in your hands. It is lighter than it appears. The liquid within calms at your touch. The mirror contained within the device does not calm. It hisses and boils, filling your mind with small clawed shadows. A headache builds behind your eyes, but despite that, even because of it, you feel compelled to sink into it, to let it wash over you. Expected. The liquid within the tubes lies utterly still, no matter which way you tilt the contraption. Occasionally a bubble pops against the glass and something within the device shudders. Let's go. Ooh. The sunrise gives the sea a blazing golden sheen, and all the city, from the far harbor shanties to the splendid square just below you, bask in its light. The breeze blows fresh and brisk off the water, the song of night birds gives way to the chatter of clerks and touts, and your black-veined hands, twisted like talons, tremble on the windowsill. Behind you, men bicker about tests and shins, about a rot that has reached the heart and brain and cannot be cut out. So I'm dying? You turn away from the window and face the men, just as the closest of them, a one-armed servant in sumptuous garb, cries that there must be more that can be done, whatever it costs. But the other, a surgeon, snaps back. I'm no mountebank like Jalipad, clinging ciphers at the sick till there is no more shins to shake loose. It is not healing to stir false hope in those doomed to die. They break off their debate to look you away. You don't recognize them at all, but plainly they know you and expect you to speak. Apologize for your confusion. I feel like I should know them. As you stammer out your confusion, the servant's eyes widen with understanding. He steps closer to you and, in an almost tender gesture, he lifts a hand toward your face. His one hand, his one arm, his other side smoothly swaddled in silk. I'm Cardogo, your grace. You know me. Without it quite being so, he is right. Even poisoned as your body is, it feels the flush of friendship. And this is Aram of the island. He has been treating you. Yeah. And this is Aram of the island. He has been treating your condition. The surgeon gives a slight nod, adding, My services are at an end, your grace. The wounds have spread too far, too deep. What the wind sowed must now be reaped. My condition, roots, the wind. The two men share a quick, obvious glance, and your frail body quivers at the gesture. Cardogo draws closer. The wind touched you, your grace. As he says it, his fingers dance as if unbidden upon the flat expanse of his maimed side. The iron wind. What it touches, it changes. Seldom for the better. Your changing was slow. All these years you fought it. The doctors fought it. We fought it together. The islander's voice has none of Cardogo's softness. And now you have lost. You are leaving this life at last. All that remains is to decide whether you will do so properly. Then there are preparations to be made. The surgeon bows, plainly pleased that you have heard his words, then takes his leave. Cardogo watches him go, and turns your way. There is work to be done, your grace, but you must rest. I will have the kitchen prepare your broth, and I will let your family know. He lingers a moment longer without saying why. What he wanted or awaited goes unspoken, and as he departs, a tremendous weariness overtakes you. Beyond the window, the sun has risen and the sea is restored to all the grey waves crashing on a solid shore. The hours of rest have won you no strength, and the soup sits uneasily in your stomach. Cardogo dusts your face with rouge to hide its pallor, slides white gloves over your twisted hands, and wraps you in a padded jacket that adds lost flesh and masks the bulbous growths. He tucks and folds the buttons, and at the last passes you a looking-glass. In your trembling grasp, it shows nothing more or less than rot and sickness. You look like a corpse prepared for funeral display. Cardogo has hidden nothing. He has merely framed your condition as a euphemism that others can bear. They are waiting, he says, and he guides your chair forward. Your eyes flick across the drawing room, alighting on the vast map covering the far wall. The shining oddment of crystal and azure steel whirling in a corner, and shells of ancient tomes, the writhing fire cage in the hearth. Then there are the men and women, young and old, all gazing expectantly. Scores of stares you cannot meet in a sea of unfamiliar faces. On some, fear and desperation are naked. Other guests have done better in their concealment. A neatly groomed man in a neatly fitted officer's uniform sobs messily. He is the exception. Cardogo puts his hand on your shoulder and a hush falls. Your Grace, the family is gathered. To you alone, he says, they wait your words. Send them away, seek Cardogo's help, try to ease their fears. Try to ease their fears, I guess. Or seek Cardogo's help. You place a trembling hand on Cardogo's arm. He leans down and whispers bland words of comfort. At first you bristle at the coddling, but quickly you realize that perhaps he means for you to pass the phases onto the crowd. In a squawking voice, you tell them that they are not alone, that they are loved and they are strong. Here your servant's prompting runs out, and at a loss for what more to say, you merely add that you are dying. When Cardogo sees that you have nothing left, he ushers your family from the room. The officer, however, insists on staying, and Cardogo at last relents. Your Grace, your nephew Salvar begs a word. He withdraws a discreet distance. Salvar has everything you've lost. Strength, beauty, vigor, and yet his haunted eyes, condemned eyes, are all too familiar. He bows and, thinking his face hidden, wipes it quickly with a handkerchief. As he rises, he kisses your gloved hand. Your Grace! His voice, for all its glorious tenor, quivers as if he is far weaker than he looks. You have given me so much, and now as your end draws near, I hope at last to prove my worth. His harried eyes dart about as he gives his little speech. Is something troubling you? A false smile reveals brilliant teeth. No, not at all. I have discovered a wonderful opportunity. A mercantile venture in need of a leader, a man of precisely my skills, and a chance to purchase shares in an ongoing concern, preferred stock. He stutters slightly over the foreign vocabulary of business. I can make good on what you've given me. Prove that your faith in me was wisdom. Smile crumbles. I just need a stake to buy in. He means shins, of course. Tell me more about this venture. Alvar nods, too fast, too many times. It's not without danger, physical danger I mean, which is why they need a man who can swing a sword. He's interrupted by a cough from Cardogo. The venture? Ah, yes, well, it involves certain saleable commodities that are in great demand in the oasis of Marajolios. Strictly highest workmanship, of course, but sold here like trinkets. So you see, exactly the sort of thing a sharp trader corners in the market, as they say. I'll need to consider this. Of course, he says, nodding. The fear seems to fade a bit from your nephew's face. I promise I will make you proud. Cardogo leads him from the room. When your servant returns, he shakes his head. You have showered the boy in shins, your Grace, and shared a greater wealth in wisdom, to no avail. Let it pass. No explanation you could give would satisfy him, nor is there much to say about a nephew you cannot recall to a servant who is scarcely more than a stranger. After a moment's silence, Cardogo eases your chair back toward your suite. It has been a long day, your Grace. You should rest. A soporific and anodyne mist brought by Cardogo dulls the daggers that stab your nerves, and soon sweet oblivion settles over you. You awaken in the dark night with the certainty that you are not alone. Your uneven heartbeat races and your rot-riddled eyes strive to find an intruder. Who's there? You hiss. I was wondering am I male or female for a moment, but I think I was They used makeup and rouge on me, so I'm assuming woman. A shadow sits at the foot of your bed, illuminated by the false fire glow of a cipher around her wrist. As your eyes adjust, her face becomes faintly visible. Maybe is your grace used on both male and female? I feel dukes might be your grace. I don't know. I'm just fucking guessing. As your eyes adjust, her face becomes faintly visible. You recognize her from the gathering. She was at the back of the drawing room, and she left before anyone else. Casca, she answers, identifying herself, though by now she knows you've seen her. Or have you forgotten me entirely? I've forgotten almost everything, it seems. You haven't forgotten to spoil Salvar, Casca scoffs. You haven't forgotten your three-legged lapdog. At the twist of a knob, the cipher in her wrist floods you with bright, blinding light. And you haven't forgotten to sleep in silk either, have you? Why are you here? To pay my last respects, Casca scoffs as she shines her cipher over your withered, trembling body. That is, if I had any. He gives a short, sharp laugh. No, what I want is what you've been giving my sweet, soft, rotten cousin Salvar all these years. Your shins. My shins will make you soft like Salabar. Better to grow stronger by earning them yourself. That's not necessarily true. Not necessarily true at all, and if you're piss poor, your opportunities are minuscule compared to even if you have a little bit of wealth. You just don't have the same opportunities, so that's an empty thing to say. Why should I give you my money? In the twilight, she gives a short, flat reply. Because I've suffered. When I'm gone, you'll be provided for. I don't know anything about the situation. I might as well say it. Casca nods once, without saying a word, then darkens the cipher on her wrist. Without its light, the room becomes completely black, utterly silent and empty but for the whisper of her departure and the ever-present pain within you. Weakness and throbbing pain are the morning's gifts. Unblunted by the herbal broth Cordogo has brought, death will not stop knocking. By the time the clocks cry out midday, a palsy has seized your left hand. Your servant gives you a relic to grip, some ancient creature locked in amber. It slips from your grasp and shatters on the floor. The beast flies away. At that moment, a caller is announced. Cardogo leaves, then returns visibly dismayed. The mendicant, your grace. Without awaiting an invitation, your visitor enters, a tall man, stiff and slender as a poker, finely dressed and bangled with ciphers. He glows with a confidence as he gives a half bow. Your grace? At a curt nod from the mendicant, Cardogo steps out. Your guest then sits beside you and takes your hand. I have heard, naturally not from Cardogo, but your family cannot help but share their panic with the city. His eyes glisten with fathomless compassion, or at least a fine simulacrum of it. The hour against which you prepared for so long has come round at last. and they, who surely knew the day would come, are as unready as house pets. They have leaned on you greatly, but then so have I, and so have our children. He gestures to the leather portmanteau he has set at his feet. I'm here to bring your plans to completion. Uh, Plans? The mendicant eyes you carefully, then nods gently. I know that a cloud has fallen on your mind. Would give me great joy to lift it. For many years your generosity has given new hope to the dispossessed and neglected children of the city. A long lifetime's worth of wealth has transformed what my hospice can provide. The lands alone, your old hunting preserves and the mouths they now feed, the wrecking field at Krypton and the honest labor of gleaming its Numenera, the campus of the hospice itself and all the lost souls it houses. As you insisted, no one knows of these gifts but us two and our solicitor. He smiles. And now I seek to drink the last dregs of your estate. No one knows? Mendicant nods. Naturally they suspect. One cannot turn a pleasure garden into an orphanage without gossip. And it is hard to conceal anything from Cardogo. I fear that he doubts my sincerity. He pats the back at his feet. In the end, of course, the truth will be known, and from high to low the city will admire your kindness. And it is on that kindness that I wish once more to impose. Why do you need more? The mendicant shakes his head sadly. Our world knows no end of need, your grace. There are so many children who have been betrayed and cast aside. With a great weary sigh he says, there is one in particular whom I wish to show you, if I may. He unhinges the portmanteau's clasp and begins to reach in. As in response, the shaking in your hand grows stronger. Of course. From his bag, the mendicant takes a glass tube filled with a swarm of ants. Next comes rich parchment, which he lays upon your desk. With a deft motion, he pulls the cap from the tube and pours the ants on the page. They skitter madly but not aimlessly, oozing acids on the page until at last they've etched a flawless picture. You see a young girl afflicted with almost unspeakable corruption. Half her flesh a wilderness of misplaced parts and oozing sores. One of Cordogo's brood, the mendicant mutters. Most of them are killed at birth, by the horse if not by him. Unbidden, a strangled sound escapes you, and Cardogo bursts in. The mendicant slips out without another word. The mendicant told me about your children. Cardogo's face turns red with rage, and then, as he sees the formideograph of his daughter. Formideograph. Shame. I see. He whispers, turning away. Face hidden, voice low, he confesses. I was a man when Kylie let me join you in their border march, and a monster when we wed. Her love never flinched. He begins to pace. Could mine? She wanted a child, but I dared not burden her with another such as me. As he steps forward, black moths swirl in the space between you. Philippa swore there was still some good in me, untouched by the wind, that could grow in my wife, but I had to know for her sake. Before you can condemn or absolve, the fit comes and all else goes. The darkness fades in part as the agony stays redoubled. Through a haze you see your bedroom and two men beside your bed. Cardogo is one. His hand is on your bony shoulder. His companion, proper in every punctilio, is another stranger. Your Grace? You barely hear Cardogo's voice. It is as if your ears are packed with wadding. I have brought your solicitor. The man sniffs. As you'll recall, Your Grace, you declined my offer to draft a will against this day. He speaks of mortgages and credit lines and accounts payable, wasting your last life on a lawyer's long-winded way of saying that what little wealth you truly have left. Now you must tell me, how am I to dispose of the residue? So this has been a long-winded way of giving me options how to use up the last vestiges of my cash. Uh, we could even use it in a last-ditch effort to extend my life, whatever the price. That seems desperate. Sometimes you just have to accept that it's time to go. I think like if you're looking at healthcare costs, it's the last moments of a lot of people's lives, or ill people's lives, that are the ones that cost the most. So you have to ask at what point does it stop making sense to basically extend someone's life? If you have a fairly old person who has a lot of complications, I mean, no one just dies of old age. You start to have certain diseases, or your body can't basically keep itself together anymore. If you have some kind of a fairly basic complication that you die from, at what point does it stop making sense to basically try to fight it off? You might buy maybe a little bit of extra time, but it comes at a massive cost. It makes sense to basically accept the fact that, yeah, this person's body is no longer able to sustain itself, so it's going to die. Just let it go. Unless they pay for it themselves, naturally. I think I'll go. I don't really know any of these. Salvar could be a good adventure, but it could be a trick. Or basically money down the drain. Haska's money could, if I give it to the woman that came to us during the night, it could be totally wasted, or what. I don't care. I have no reason to keep the promise to her either. Establish a trust for Cardogo's children? That's an odd solution. I mean, he's a trusted servant, but am I going to ignore my own family? That's a recipe for the disaster. Give it to the hospice? No. I think divide it evenly among the family. I mean, that's the typical response if you don't have any special plans. I mean, I don't think these are necessarily bad choices to others, but I know too little about this person's life and what she wanted. I'm basically making a blind choice. So divide it evenly among the family, whatever it's worth. You can barely whisper the words, but as the final darkness creeps across your vision, you see the solicitor nod. Your life's last short span stretches almost infinitely, and in it you see all the unfamiliar, fearful faces that crowded your drawing room, and you see all those fears eased, in part by your bequest. Then the image fades and the darkness turns to golden waves lapping on the shore, and your long days are finally done. So that was basically me reading someone's written short story. Didn't really contribute anything to anything. I'm not angry or upset about it, just it's not much of a game or a choice. I could make choices, but they were more or less blind choices, so they're not much of a choice.
You bet.
Let's go.
I don't think I'll go to the portal during this session. I'll see what else we can find out in these tombs and end it before I go to the portal, so we can start fresh with a new session. Who knows what's on the other side of that plastic thing anyway?
Let's go.
Malte Kampschulte. Gary
I'm
Williams. Aquarity. Jeremy Mill.
Go.
Like the morning dew, we belong to neither leaf nor branch, but the great grey sky of chance, to which all things return. Kunst Angun Wanderer. Kandak Angun. Kansk Angun.
Let's go all, you and me.
I'm willing to endure, let's say, about 5 empty tombs without any kind of an event, or I'm I think reluctant to go on. Yeah, Silver again. Again, you meet the strange humanoid calling itself Silver. It seems different though, upset. More tombs, more tantalum, more searching. Frustration boils under its calm tones. Must search, must know. It turns and methodically bangs its head into the wall of the tomb. Must. Are you alright? Silver? A seeker, a curse, a question seeking an answer, driven to find it. What are you talking about? A man torn in time and knowledge. A man, yes, not a construct, not a shell, a mind in a shell. Are you saying you're under some kind of curse? Trouble, air, dust, knowledge, despair. Silver jerks and twitches. Epiphanies do not reveal themselves. No mention of inspiration. A single oily droplet oozes from its forehead. But I must continue. What the fuck is wrong with you? I am compelled to look, to find, to know. The truth awaits for me in these vagabond insects, stainless. Silver holds up his hand. No, stop. Questions too much. Compulsion rises, must find new tomb. He clashes his hands to his head. Trapped in numbers, trapped in prime form, rolling through differentials, imaginary in substance, must find tomb. He stops and draws himself together. His voice has changed and becoming flat and emotionless. I must go. Can I help? Go where? To search. More knowledge is necessary. These tombs hold secrets untold. Silver pushes you aside and marches away. Okay. Yeah. Seems like that's coming to some kind of a eruption point soon. Caleb Brown. Erin Cracksticks. Don Shuster Jr. Derry.
Ready.
Lightly repetitive in life, lightly repetitive in death. Slips.
I'm going.
Jeff Gray. Ludovic Santaroni. Casimir Ravenshaw.
Let's go.
Random. So within a couple of these we should encounter Silver again.
Go.
Kraylan Aspie.
On it.
Steb. Raptor.
All right.
Stephen McKinley. Chant Svarek
Yes.
Gay. Humdrider Gans. Right. Second empty tomb.
All right.
Benzene Boy.
On it.
Sean Chen. Ooh. You don't know if you just blinked or if the tomb around you somehow snapped into a different reality. Nothing significant seems to have changed except you have an additional cipher that you're certain wasn't there before. Phylactery. Summons a humanoid husk to fight by your side. A tear-shaped vial fits where a lens would be expected to be on the opposite end of a labial contoured eyepiece. As the oddly large pendant on a fitted chain, it emanates a cool blue glow. The vial is almost full with a liquid, but its composition is a mystery because there appears to be no way to access the contents. A small hologram indicates a figure crying into the device and placing it upon the ground. But as the vial is already full, your tears should not be required. Once placed upon the ground, the hologram claims the useful compatriot will appear. Okay. Shrug.
All right.
The worst mistake you never got the chance to make. Matthias Molnar.
All right.
Someone has roughly scrawled something into the corner of this monument. TBD. Leon Hartwig.
I'm ready.
Should be meeting Silver soon. Ah. It's the arcane humanoid Silver. He's not as erratic as he was when you saw him last, but his eyes carry an intense look. He stretches his hand out toward you. They're trembling. You carry the phylactery. I see it under your clothing. I sense it in the air around you. Let me touch it. I beseech you, let me. Sure. Yeah, I'm pretty much it. Yeah, it's an item that you probably okay, this makes sense. It's a random. It's a set of events, and every tomb, more or less, or every other tomb provides the next step of this chain of events. So it's clearly tied to Silver, the phylactery. Now I'm not particularly interested in random summon. I'm sure it might help in a fight, but it seems like it's designed for Silver and this event, so let him use the device. 40 XP, holy shit. He yanks it from your hand and turns it over and over. Yes, the husk will serve. Only a few adjustments are needed. He fiddles with the phylactery too quickly for you to follow what he has done. There, that should give it form so long as it retains a consciousness. Now? He holds it in his eye socket, and lights begin to swirl around his head. Liquid fills the vial, tears streaming from his eye, and streamers of luminescent fog weave themselves together around the vial. He sets the cipher on the ground, it dissolves, and a moment later a new body stands before Silver. A middle-aged man with a sharp and curious face. Silver steps forward, studying the man, and then reaches out and touches this new body's forehead. Lightning jolts through both of them. The new man opens his eyes and flexes his fingers. He wiggles his toes. He starts to laugh. He stretches and stands tall, standing fully erect in a moment. Unashamed, he throws his arms around you in a graceful embrace and whispers, "Thank you, friend, thank you. I've been trapped in that body for decades. It drove me and I fought with its guidance until I found Tantalum. He gave me the key, or perhaps unknowingly, that allowed me to open the door to find Circe's. These tombs," he looks around him wistfully. "The answers are here. You have rescued me. For this I would give you a gift. One gift and then I must go. The world beckons." Uh, what happened to you? "I once sought knowledge in the ways of the ancients. I was trained as a nano and I thought to increase my power. I entered the frightful bloom near Sega's cliffs and discovered an artifact lost within. The body form you see here. I touched it and my consciousness transferred within, and its fail-safe mechanisms enslaved me to its requirements. I lost myself. I lost my time. I do not... No, I will not speak of this. Let me tell you instead what I can offer you in thanks. That body form has many uses and defenses. I can give you a weapon that will literally extract the blood from a person at range. A ranged weapon that maybe heals you? A cyber that can attack the minds of your enemies, so a single-use bullshit? Or I can teach you some of what I have learned while in the vile machine, knowledge of its machinery that may aid you in the future. Give me the knowledge. Teach me what you know. He leans forward and whispers a string of syllables into your ear, and though you can make no sense of them, you can feel them burning new pathways in your mind. Shortly thereafter, the body at his feet begins to crumble into dust. Skill level in lore machinery has been increased by 1. Current level, specialized plus. Now I must go. I must see through my own eyes again to be free. He fairly leaps to the exit. Okay. I might visit a few extra random sites to see if this is the end of these encounters, but possibly? We should be close to a level up. Yep. 41 points.
Of course.
We could probably get that by completing the endless gate thing.
Alright.
If you think that's best.
Okay, I'll go to, let's say, 3 random locations, and then we'll leave. I want to talk to the guy outside, the shopkeeper.
Alright, here I go.
We visited quite a lot of tombs. I want to see how he reacts to that. And maybe talk about Silver, for example. And the other guy. I forgot his name.
Alright. On it.
Ooh.
Yes. Now.
Nothing special. Yeah, I think this is probably the extent of this. Big D.
Don't
Like,
mind if I do.
okay, this will be the last random one.
I'm going.
Zhang Jiang. Gregory Hatcher. Nathan Kleinke. Emile Lichholm.
Alright.
Brian Paddock. Kelvin Lai.
Go.
Right, we're done. Necropolis entrance, please. We'll talk to the shopkeeper, come back here, probably leave things like that.
Why, of course. At last.
I don't know what else I can do. It seems like the only thing we have left is to basically find the owner of the merecaster we have. That's it. I've read about 72 tomes. You did? You really did? Suddenly he burst out laughing. The echoes of his laughter make the dome atop his head ring and shiver in harmony. You were stubborn, my friend. Most people give up by this point, worn down by the sheer monotony of the task. I almost feel bad for sending you down there. He pauses, tapping his chin. I should probably have considered what I'd say to you, but I honestly didn't think you'd make it this far. Maybe I should just have given you the truth. Truth is, I was just playing a game. I do it with everyone who comes to the valley, looking for secrets or deeper truth. They say, "Oh, Tantalum, tell me what you've uncovered here." But there's no deep secrets to be found, just memories of the dead. The big secret? The memorials are carved, and death is inevitable. And maybe you shouldn't trust just anyone who says he can help you find what you seek. He smiles a little sadly. Not much of a secret, likely, but it's what I know. What else should I have been doing then? Whatever it was you were supposed to be doing. Meaningless make work, isn't it? Follow your passion, follow your purpose. Do something worthwhile. Digging in the past, isn't it? Find the future. Lesson's over. Hope you take something from it. Need to talk about Silver again. Silver was under some kind of a curse. I freed him from it. He cocks an eyebrow and his eyes widen. Is that so? A curse? It would explain his odd behavior. Well, good for you. Maybe you did learn something after all. So Hero was right. You are a fraud. If you didn't question what you were doing, and if you believed what some random carker tells you to be true, maybe the problem is not with me. Maybe you should examine your own actions and choices. I didn't make you do a damn thing. No, but you are a fraud. Okay. Let's trade. Do I have something to trade? Do I want something? Do I need something from him? No. Not really, no. Do I have ciphers over limits? Yes, I do. No, actually, I don't. I have one under limit. I don't think I want to buy anything in his place, though. I was thinking about a better armor. I could certainly afford it. It's just 1 point better, though. Also, intellect pool, though. I don't really have a particular reason not to buy it. That's, I suppose, the takeaway from this. Looks horrible. Don't care. Wait, we have 1 free space. We have... we're piss poor. I'd probably sell this crap. And it is crap, not, I mean, totally worthless. We still have most of our oddities and the more valuable items, so I can easily probably get about 1,000 shims out of these items immediately. I'm more or less holding on to them because I don't know what are their useful are these, like the chroma volume, or are there something else? So, shrug? There's not really all that many ways of knowing either. I am looking for no, actually I'm not looking for shit. I was thinking about a light and range weapon, but no, I'm not looking for that. If the thunder cannon would be fine if it actually had a little bit more range. Short range weapon seems sort of worthless. And I could use more healing, but at the same time I don't want to waste money on it. I can always come back here and buy them again later.
Eridus, did you really crash an airship into the cliffs?
No. You see, I skillfully stopped the airship with the ground. Why am I explaining this?
Right. Find the owner of the merecaster. See, here it is. Enter the endless gate. So only
Yes.
endless gate is
Now.
left. Hopefully it's a more interesting merecaster or something that we can actually make proper
At
choices
last.
in. Usually the useful merecasters we've seen, there's an option immediately where I can basically... I think it's in merecasters that are from other cast-offs. There's some kind of a feeling we can get to what's the purpose of this merecaster. Like what happened
All right, Rin.
when
you
the
can do
cast-off
this.
initially did it. So we have a history of what basically will follow, more or less.
Fine.
Who is Oddworld? We haven't gotten anything useful out of him. He has the... Oh, I'll quickly visit Oddworld, just to make sure he's not the owner of any of this crap. But he has everything in the box openly there. I really should look into that box. That could have
You
a
bet.
lot of interesting things. Can you tell me anything else about Inifir? Do not be like him, do not hide. That could be a clue to what to do with in the merecaster. Do not be like him, do not hide. Keep your fucking box. Keep it.
Gladly.
Endless Gate. Marquisa's Tomb. Do I have any... Ooh, I'll heal. I don't have the luxury of healing
I
during
can
fighting
stand a little
anyway.
more of that.
So might as well make sure we're in more or less decent health.
Never get enough.
We have a decent amount of stat points. 2 decent heals. Yeah, this is about as good as it's going to get, I think.
Why not?